Okay, let's get this. Let's get one thing straight here. Okay, we're going to address internet followers, and we're going to address predictability again in wrestling. See, I watched Tslays vid. I watched a lot of his vids. Actually, he was one of the first people I subscribed to when he was doing his WWE Sucks ROH Rules videos. Oh, when I was watching that, that was what really inspired me to start being a wrestler. So when he says people rely on him, yeah, that's very true. But the thing is that I'd like to talk about reliability as well on this video. Not just reliability, not really reliability, but followers. You see, some of you people are saying that this WrestleMania was the worst WrestleMania of all time. I mean, seriously, how could you? Okay, if okay, I'm gonna just put this to bed really quickly. Do you think this WrestleMania is the worst WrestleMania of all time? I want you to tell me every 5-star match that's been in the last 25 WrestleManias. I'm pretty sure that you will find many WrestleManias where you couldn't put a 5-star match on if you tried. I mean, even WrestleMania 18, all you're gonna say, well, Hogan Rock was a 5-star match. I mean, I'll let you say that, but if you can tell me a 5-star match for every single WrestleMania 25, I will applaud you. I will say this is the worst WrestleMania of all time. But the fact is, you can't. And if you try to, you're gonna look like an idiot. You want to know why so many people are saying that this is the worst WrestleMania of all time? It starts with one person saying this WrestleMania was crap. I like TNA better. This is something that I'm going to say. This is the worst WrestleMania of all time. Then you're gonna have someone else say, yeah, this is the worst WrestleMania of all time. We should watch TNA more, as if TNA is gonna be a better freaking show. And then you have someone else look at that comment and go, oh yes, I'm going to say that this WrestleMania is the worst WrestleMania of all time, just to go on with the fad because I don't know what the crap I'm talking about. Yet, if you corner these people, if you look at them, you'll see most of them are troll accounts, most of them haven't even subscribed or looked at videos, and you'll notice that most of them were created on the same day, which means they're probably the same person. So I don't get when people try to talk trash about WrestleMania and they don't know crap about wrestling whatsoever. Seriously, I'm not even gonna say that they don't know crap about wrestling, but they don't they don't analyze wrestling to the point of where they can form their own opinion. What they do is they listen to what other people say, they make a little video, they act like they saw the pay-per-view, they copy the star rating, and then they decide they want to be unique or different, and they want to make the rating completely different from everyone else. I mean, Sarcastic Venom made a video not too long ago about how a lot of wrestling fans on YouTube, they make the same kind of videos and things like that. How they make the same kind of responses or same kind of star systems. And he pointed out how the Craig effect was unique in pointing out that one pay-per-view wasn't that big a deal. You see, I can respect something like that, but then you have some idiots around here just trying to be different intentionally, trying to be an outcast or a standout, where it's not their own opinion, it's what they think is gonna sound cool to get them more views. So they'll say Undertaker and Shawn Michaels was a 3-star match because we knew Undertaker was gonna win. No crap, you knew Undertaker was gonna win. If you understood the business, you know Undertaker was gonna win. Let me tell you something. If the Undertaker streak is ever going to be broken, it's going to be broken by someone that's going to be staying with the company for a long time. Someone they're going to try to make a legend out of. And I can guarantee you that they're not going to break the streak to someone that's going to be gone after next year's WrestleMania, which Shawn Michaels said he more than likely will be gone after next year's WrestleMania. They're not going to have the Undertaker's unbeaten streak beaten by someone that's going to retire soon. That's probably why it's never going to be broken, because they can't trust anyone to stay a while. I mean, they gave the world to Brock Lesnar and he left quickly. And they can't really trust anyone with that kind of legacy. I mean, let's say Randy Orton breaks the record. Let's say Randy Orton breaks Undertaker's undefeated streak. Okay. And then he decides he just had enough of the wrestling business or the politics and he leaves. Well, then you just basically wasted 17 years of an unbeaten streak to build up someone that decided he wanted to stop moving. Do you really think the WWE is gonna risk something like that? Seriously? If you understand the business, you will get this part of it. Now, I'm going back to predictability again. And predictability in wrestling is supposedly a bad thing. Let me tell you something. Like I said, if everything is unpredictable, then how the heck are you going to enjoy the product? I mean, some things that you expect to just make sense. It's like, Truth Slayer brings this up a lot. In order for a match to be good sometimes, not only the lead up and everything like that, sometimes the lead up is better than the match. He's like, but in a situation, more often than not, it has to make sense. And if you get too unpredictable, you'll be like, well, that doesn't make sense at all. Kind of like, okay, David Arquette becoming the WCW champion. That was unpredictable. Do you really think it was the best thing in the world? No. Let me think. A bunch of other predictabilities. Oh, Hornswoggle being Vince McMahon's son. Unpredictable. Everyone thought it was going to be Mr. Kennedy, and it probably would have been Mr. Kennedy if he hadn't failed the drug test. But here's the thing. It was unpredictable that it was going to be Hornswoggle, and all people did was complain and moan and cry about it. And yet Hornswoggle now is one of the most over midgets in the company. He's the only midget in the company, but he's one of the most over as well. And he got over because of the different angles and because people liked him and because they got to see more of his character. Hornswoggle was a former X Division champion before you try to say that he's just there for gimmick purposes. He actually did have some skill. But the thing is, unpredictability is not always a bad thing. Sometimes the things you predict happen are the things you want to happen because it makes sense. It makes absolute sense. Why do you think people were saying that Orton was going to be the one to probably beat Triple H at WrestleMania and that he was going to have his breakout moment like Batista had? Because it made sense the way they were building the match. And people were disappointed not just with the fact that it was not just the fact that Orton didn't go over, but they were disappointed with the fact that it was a disappointing match. I mean, matches are unpredictable. You don't know if they're going to be good or bad. But a lot of people put predictability on that the match was going to be good because A, Orton and Triple H have had great matches before. B, this storyline has been building up like fire. C, if they put together maybe even 90% of what they've done in other things, as long as it was great, had a good ending, and it was explosive, people wouldn't have cared. Even if some people knew going into booking that Triple H was gonna win the match, they wouldn't have cared if it had been a good match. You predicted a good match, and it was unpredictable that it was going to be a terrible match. See, predictability is not bad in wrestling. Sometimes you expect a good match. Not just in matches. Sometimes you expect a good storyline. Sometimes you expect a good promo. Sometimes you expect things to make sense. Sometimes you expect a run-in because all these things make sense. If the WWE is just a world of unpredictability, nothing is going to make sense, and you're not going to be able to follow it. And you're just going to be able to say, oh, well, I don't know what's going to happen. Why the heck am I going to watch? Some people watch with anticipation of what's going to happen. I mean, seriously, if it was predictable, let me ask you, if in the Jericho Mickey Rourke segment, if Austin's glass had broken, he came walking out there, which a lot of people predicted that Austin would have came out there and stunned the crap out of Jericho before he fought Mickey Rourke. A lot of people predicted that, and had that have happened, would you have complained? Would you have complained if Austin went out there and just stunned Jericho before Mickey Rourke got his hands on him? No, you wouldn't have complained, but because it didn't happen and Mickey Rourke just dropped Jericho with this terrible looking punch, you're going to complain about that. Not because it wasn't what you wanted. How many times have the wrestling fans complained about a product because it was something that they didn't want? Do you know how you want something? You have to predict how it's going to happen. You're not just going to say, I hope this match happens and surprises me. You're going to say, I hope this match happens. No one goes into a pay-per-view saying, oh, I hope they surprise me by having this and this and this and this happen instead of what really should happen and this and that. How do you think you get wants in this world? You have to predict what you want. And it's not rocket science, really. It's really not rocket science. If predictability was bad in wrestling, then you should just stop wrestling altogether. Seriously, when you watch wrestling, it's like if you didn't think that HBK was gonna lose, if you knew that he was gonna lose in the match when the match was first booked, then why the heck did you even reach the point when this match was announced? Why did you want this match at all if you knew he was going to lose? Because it doesn't freaking matter who wins or loses. It's how you play the game. It doesn't matter who wins or loses. It's how you play the game. And that game that The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels played was a 5-star game, regardless of who was going to win or lose. It doesn't matter if you can predict the outcome. Like I've said millions and millions of times, it doesn't matter who wins. It matters how it happens. And all you internet followers that have never watched WWE really and are just rating this pay-per-view off what other people say, get a life, be original, and stop trying to be an elitist prick when you don't even know.